Hello and welcome to the latest beef and lamb market update. I wish I had better news, but since last month the prime cattle market hasn't fared any better, with no real recovery in the price. Lamb prices have continued to fall in line with seasonal trends. Low beef prices obviously remain a concern, and although price falls have been more muted in recent weeks, we haven't yet turned a corner. Data from the British Cattle Movement Service indicates that on the 1st of July, the number on the ground of dairy males and beef animals of either sex in the 12 to 18 month age group was nearly 30,000 head lower than last year, about a week's kill. This points towards slightly tighter numbers ahead, possibly in advance of the winter housing period. On the demand side, in the 12 weeks ending on the 11th of August, fresh and frozen primary beef sales increased 5% in volume on the year, mostly because of lower priced mince, but burger sales and also steak sales are still lagging behind last year, and so overall, beef demand recorded only sluggish growth of less than 0.5%. In its simplest terms, there's been too much supply for the existing demand. Prime carcass weights are still well above last year's levels, so even though the number of prime animals forward is around the same as last year, production is higher. It was 2% higher year on year in August. So, with a little growth in demand, it's up to international trade to balance the market. In the year to date, import volumes of fresh and frozen beef are 13% lower than last year, with the biggest declines in boneless product. Prices of imported product are lower too, which is deterring volumes. Export, on the other hand, are 12% higher in the year to date, spurred on by these same lower prices. However, the value of this trade is only 1% higher year on year, suggesting that the market is pushing this volume out in an effort to balance, rather than there being a pull on the product. So now let's go over to the lamb markets. Lamb prices have continued to move broadly in line with the 5-year average. Good grass growth continues to support production, and lots of lambs have come forward earlier than usual in the year to date, although numbers slowed a little in August. It was really cull ewes that played a role in production last month, with numbers up to the highest monthly kill since 2016. This kept production overall about 1% higher year on year. Demand has been better too. Total retail demand was 4% higher year on year in the 12 weeks to the 11th of August. The trade story continues for yet another month, with higher domestic production lending itself to higher sheep meat exports. In July, UK exports were up 12% compared with last year. Less impressive growth perhaps in percentage terms compared to June, but this is a time of year when we'd expect exports to pick up anyway. There are some reports of additional frozen stocks being laid down on the continent, with the 31st of October looming large. UK imports have fallen again. They were down by 41% in July, continuing the pattern of recent months, with the double effect of lower New Zealand exports overall in early summer, but more of what is exported going to China. So for more in-depth information on what's going on in UK cattle and sheep markets, please visit the AHDB Beef and Lamb website or subscribe to our weekly newsletter by contacting the Red Meat team.